No one noticed when it happened. It was just a regular Sunday afternoon in late January. The sky hung low, heavy with snow-laden clouds, and the air had that deep biting chill that settles into your bones. In the small town of Millersville, Pennsylvania, the community lake had been frozen for weeks. Children often gathered there with their families, skating, laughing, falling, and getting back up again. But that day, there were fewer people than usual. The cold had kept most indoors. Still, 6-year-old Lucas Meyer was outside, bundled up in layers, playing in his backyard. That's when Cooper, the family's golden retriever, suddenly darted into the woods behind their house, tail wagging and nose buried in a fresh trail. Lucas didn't hesitate. He'd always been curious and fearless. His parents, Emma and Rob, often called him our little explorer. He was obsessed with maps, treasure hunts, and tales of ancient kingdoms. That day, chasing Cooper felt like embarking on one more adventure. He ran after the dog, giggling, snow crunching under his boots as he passed the familiar tree line into the woods. He followed Cooper all the way to the edge of the lake, where the dog stood barking frantically at something in the distance. And that's when Lucas stepped onto the ice. It looked solid. It always did. The surface was smooth and deceptively safe, but beneath the frozen facade was danger waiting. Nobody saw him fall. Nobody heard the ice crack except for Cooper, who began barking louder, circling the hole. Moments later, a neighbor walking his own dog heard the barking and saw the dog pacing wildly. Gary Thornton, a retired firefighter and longtime resident of Millersville, immediately knew something was wrong. He picked up his pace, then broke into a run when he noticed the broken patch in the ice. "Someone's in there?" he shouted as he threw off his coat. He didn't stop to think about his age or his aching knees or the frigid temperature. All that mattered was the boy beneath the surface. He spread his weight across the ice and crawled toward the hole, praying it wouldn't collapse under him. When he reached the break, he saw no movement, just still, black water and a red glove slowly spinning just below the surface. He plunged his arms into the hole, blindly searching. The cold was excruciating, but he didn't stop. He took a deep breath, then dove in headfirst. The water was pitch black. Visibility was zero. His heart bounded, but he kept sweeping his arms until finally his hand grazed something. A soft sleeve. Lucas. He grabbed hold and kicked hard, bursting through the surface with the limp boy in his arms. He hauled him onto the ice, laid him flat, and began CPR. Gary's hands were numb, his body trembling, his breath coming in clouds. But he didn't stop. Chest compressions. Breaths, over and over. Lucas had been underwater for over 10 minutes. By the time paramedics arrived, Lucas was cold to the touch, not breathing, with no detectable heartbeat. His core body temperature was just 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Clinically and legally, he was dead. But no one gave up. In the ambulance, EMTs continued compressions. They inserted a breathing tube, wrapped his small body in thermal blankets, and administered warm IV fluids. As they arrived at the hospital, they radioed ahead. Code blue incoming, pediatric, 6-year-old male, submersion injury. Inside the a trauma team was ready. Dr. Valerie Nguyen, the attending physician, immediately called for ECMO, a heart-lung bypass machine rarely used in children, but known to sometimes spark miracles in hypothermic patients. It was a long shot. Everyone knew it. Emma and Rob had just left church when the calls started coming in. First from the neighbor, then from the hospital, then from a social worker. "Come quickly," she said. "Your son's been in an accident." When they arrived, they were taken into a private room where a nurse explained the situation as gently as possible. Emma dropped to her knees. Rob held her up as both cried, their world crumbling in real time. Hours passed. Each second felt like a year. And then at 7:12 p.m., Dr. Nguyen entered the room. Her eyes were tired but focused. "I won't lie to you," she said. "He was gone for a long time, but we got a pulse." It was a flicker of hope in a storm of despair. Lucas was transferred to the pediatric ICU. He was kept in a medically induced coma, monitored by machines that beeped and blinked and hummed. Emma never left his side. She read his favorite books, stories about brave knights, jungle explorers, and astronauts. Rob brought in family photos and taped them to the wall. They spoke to him constantly, telling him to come back, to fight. And outside that hospital room, the town of Millersville rallied. Someone created a Facebook group. Pray for Lucas. It spread like wildfire. Hundreds joined within hours. People posted prayers, photos, and personal stories. Local news picked up the story. Churches held prayer vigils. Local businesses put signs in their windows. Lucas, we're with you. The school district lit a candle in the cafeteria, and his kindergarten teacher hung his artwork on the class bulletin board. And then came the 6th day. Emma was reading a story, his favorite one, about a dragon lost in a snowstorm, when she noticed something, a twitch. She paused, then saw it again. Lucas's fingers moved, barely, but enough. She called the nurse. Doctors came running. His eyelids fluttered, his lips parted. He took a breath on his own. Lucas, Emma whispered, and then he smiled. Not a big smile, not even a full one, but unmistakably, impossibly, it was a smile. The ICU erupted in cautious celebration. Tests were ordered immediately, brain scans, reflex assessments, neurological evaluations. And to everyone's amazement, everything came back normal. No swelling, no hemorrhaging, no cognitive impairment. Dr. Nguyen, who had seen hundreds of cases, called it the most astonishing recovery of her career. This child was dead, she said in a press conference, and now he's alive. That doesn't happen. Except it did. Over the next few weeks, Lucas slowly came back to life. He began physical therapy. At first, his legs were weak. He wobbled when he walked. But each day he got stronger. He laughed when he fell, then stood back up. I'm like a baby giraffe, he said once, giggling. By the end of the month, he was walking unassisted, talking clearly, even drawing pictures for his doctors. When he asked for chocolate pudding, his nurse cried. The day he was discharged, hundreds of people showed up at the hospital entrance. A local marching band played as he emerged in a wheelchair, waving. Balloons filled the sky. A banner read, Welcome home, Lucas. Cooper, the dog who had led Gary to the lake, jumped into his lap, tail wagging furiously. Lucas hugged him tight. Good boy, he whispered. Today, Lucas is 10. He plays soccer. He builds Lego castles. He dreams of becoming a firefighter, just like Gary Thornton, who now visits the family every Christmas. And every winter, when the lake freezes, the town places a sign in honor of Lucas that reads, No ice is safe ice, but hope is never lost. His story continues to inspire. It reminds people that sometimes the impossible becomes possible, that miracles aren't just fairy tales, that even when everything seems lost, when the water is cold and the light is fading, life can still push through. Lucas Meyer should not be here, but he is, and every breath he takes is a testament to courage, love, community, and the inexplicable, undeniable power of hope.